Let's design a few ads, shall we? Uh, Before we proceed, there is again a disclaimer because I know a lot of people with graphic design talent in our community. So definitely no offense to them. If you are someone who has had a graphic design background, you can skip this module. Okay, this is for people who have never had exposure to graphic design or who have always been dependent on someone else or somebody who cannot afford a graphic designer now, but they still have the need to do a lot of ads. So this is a method that I have learned, over a period of time, and I have created a lot of performance marketing creatives that can go on Google Display, that can go on Facebook, right? That can go on LinkedIn. I have done that a lot. That has consistently delivered a lot of ROI. So if you have background in graphic design, you can skip this module. This is for the rest of us. All right. So let us keep it very, very simple. Do you know that top performing creative format across all industries? Take a wild guess. Take a wild guess and put it in the comment box. There is one form of a creative that works very well all the time. Okay. And that is a good old plain and authentic photo. Nothing else. I do not mean a stock photo. If you do not know what a stock photo means, these are images that you get from shutterstock.com, which is used by thousands of people the same time. Most of the BFSI companies, hospitals, if you go to their websites and Facebook, you will find them using these stock images because they just don't have choice. Whenever it is a possibility, you have to get photo shoots done for your products, photo shoots done with good models with your customers. It is going to actually help a lot. If you recall the examples that we have spoken about, most of those photographs are authentic. It is not something that you will regularly find on internet. So the images that you regularly see on internet are called stock images. Okay. I have a lot of resources towards the end of this module, where you can actually go and download some really good photographs, authentic ones, that doesn't look like stock photography. Yeah. So coming back to the point, it is just a plain photograph, plain product photo, plain model photograph. Works pretty well. In case if you are not doing it, if you are complicating it with a lot of graphic elements, please don't do that. Just try it with a very basic product photograph, very basic customer photograph. Or if you have had done some model shoots, just use that photograph, that model with the product. It just works, because it kind of goes well with the nature of platform, be it Facebook, be it Instagram. People don't want to see ad. People want to see very native and natural content. That is what gets the highest click through, which is the reason just plain photographs work as well. Even if you're a social media marketer, you would have noticed instead of doing that regular creatives where you put logo, where you put a copy, if you just put a plain photograph, plain album, it would have gotten a lot of engagement for you because that is what people like to see. Okay. So, pro tip here is to steal like an artist. All right. So, I'm going to tell you generally how I go about stealing, and that is what I'm going to teach you here. Okay. So, let me just switch back to my favorite tool. Okay. All right. Let me show you how I generally go about making my ad creatives. As you can see, I have actually created a mock of the different ads that I have liked online. This is Asana, this is Squarespace, and a couple of IBM ads, even growth school ads, a couple of them. Yesterday I was making a mock of what Viber has done for this other program. So I was trying to make a mock of it if I can really do that using Canva. So what I am using here is a paid version of the tool, but for your learning perspective, you can just use the free version. But if you really are serious about making a lot of ad creatives, social media creatives, Google display creatives, you definitely need to buy the paid version because you won't have any restrictions. And as we are going through this lesson, you will know that why you need a paid version. So if you are somebody who's planning to outsource your ads, or if you're planning on hiring a team, and if you really can't afford one, you definitely need the paid version of the platform. Unless you already have a graphic design team, then you don't have to worry about this at all. If you have a graphic design team, you shouldn't be watching this tutorial in first place. Anyway, so generally, I'll show you my process in terms of how I go about doing. The first thing that I always do is go to our favorite mode.com, right? And I keep looking up some of the advertisers that I really admire. So you already look at, excuse me, you already looked at some of the examples that I showed you, right? We looked at a cereal brand. We looked at a couple of other brands, while we were talking about a lot of copy. And I will also make sure that I'm going to drop all the companies that I admire in the Discord community. All right. So let me show you how I generally go about doing it. For example, this is already showing me this company called Pantheon, and I generally quickly take a look at it because I know what is possible within Canva, not to the fullest extent, but I know to a certain extent what is possible. For example, something like this, we definitely can make it in Canva, right? So let me show you right away, how do I go about making it. This is a 300 into 600 dimension. So let me first of all create a design, a custom design, which is 300 into 600, 300 into 600, ready to go. So it will give you a blank layout. Okay. And if I really like a certain color, I use this Chrome extension called Colorzilla. There are a ton of other Chrome extensions as well that can actually help you identify what color it is. So if I just click on it and scroll over, it is going to tell me that exact hex code and the RGB color. All you have to do is just click on that color. It will automatically be copied to the clipboard. Okay. So, and I'll go here and just click on the color to change the background. And I'm going to put in the hex code. Okay. So you got that exact Pantheon color. You got that exact Pantheon color. So the next one, they have this yellow color call to action. Join the workshop. That is relatively easy to make. So I would probably do that. So in order to do that, I would actually look for an element which looks like a rectangle in shape. Yeah, this is a rectangle. And I'm going to reduce the size the way I want to. Let's put it in that exact dimensions. Yeah, now it's pretty much looks closer to this, right? Yeah, this looks closer. And then we need that text, which is join the workshop. So I'll go to text here and add a subheading, join the workshop. I hope it is, yeah, it is in sentences. Let me just make this, it is black in color. So I'll just select this particular thing, change the color to black and bring it down. Yeah, so we do have it. The reason it looks slightly different because this is a different font and that is a different font. Okay, so you don't worry about it. Just if we actually know the font, I will give you a tool as well where you can identify the font of this. But from a learning perspective, we are not going to too much worry about the font. If you have this exact font, then whatever you're doing in Canva, it will look exactly like that. So let me just quickly bold it, change it to one of my favorite font. And whenever I have a problem, I usually go with Helvetica, right? So yeah, it's a paid font. Okay, our call to action is ready. Then I need Pantheon's logo. What I would generally do is I would just search for the logo in PNG. Okay. So PNG is when you get the transparent version of the logo. Which one? Okay, they have icon on the left side and name on the right side, which means this logo. I'm not sure if it is a PNG logo or it is not a PNG. It's a white colored logo. Still not PNG. That's what happens when we are dealing with these things. If we are going to be having only white, then it is a problem. Then we have to use different tools to actually make the transparent version of it. What can we do? Can we do? So just for that education purpose, right? Let's just put it. But ideally, you should be downloading the transparent version of it. This is not an actual transparent version. They just are fooling you. This is not an actual transparent version. All right. So let me just do one more search. We found the transparent version of the logo. So let me just paste it. Looks like this is white in color. Okay, so if you really want to change that, they give you some options. You go to effects and there is something called duotone. You should be able to change the color, especially if you are including an object. If it is just background color or something like that, you should be able to change in the dashboard itself. But if you want to reverse the color on this logo, this one gives you something called duotone, and you can click on it and click on this adjust. I want just make this default black or white. Okay. And now you should be able to get the white and maybe make this one yellow. Okay, not bad, not bad. We pretty much got what we wanted. And where exactly it is positioned at the top. So maybe I'll take it to the top. Okay. So you have it at the top. Now let's go. What else do they have? They have a headline which is get started with Drupal 9. So I would add a subheading again or a heading maybe, right? Because we need a slightly larger font. Get started with Drupal 9. Okay. And they have a slightly, you'll get used to this. Don't worry about how I'm looking at font and structures and stuff like that. I'll show you a tool where you can easily find the font, exact font that they have used. Okay, so get started with Drupal 9. Get started with Drupal 9. Started is in caps. So let me just quickly go back to my favorite font. Okay, this is pretty decent, if not too bad. So if you use that exact font, you will get exactly that. Okay, so give a little bit of reduce the font size a little, bring it down. Okay, and then you have this object. We cannot get this exact object. So just for our education purpose, let me search for drop. Nothing looks closer to this. It's a nice drop. Just not getting it. Maybe I'll just use this, okay, for this education purposes. You'll get the idea. You may not be able to exactly that because this belongs to Pantheon. Okay, you shouldn't be copying it. Just for you to tell that this is a template that you need to get inspired from. Now, how do I get it inspired? I would look at something like this. They've used contrasting colors. And if the color is really interesting that I can potentially use, I will copy the color and may not use it exactly like this. Maybe use it as a call to action button and reverse the color. Okay. What this template tells me is, I can use my logo here. I can use a headline here. I can put an object here and I can highlight my call to action like this instead of a regular button. For example, this is a regular button, right? This call to action button is within the creative. This call to action button is at the bottom if you look at it, right? So this is one way of, doing creative. It doesn't look too bad if you see. Let me download it and show it. It will look better. You see here, this is Pantheon's creative and this is our creatives. I'm just going to download it. Whenever you download PNG, so you get the highest quality of that creative. And that's about it. Let me just download it and show it to you. Okay. So you have let's close this window. Yep. So you have that. If not exactly similar, but we have gotten close to what a graphic designer, a really good graphic designer, have done it. Okay. So if you want to really take inspiration, you cannot be literally copy pasting this. You can take a look at the structure of that ad. Okay, there is this logo on the top. There is this call to action, which is built nicely. It's not like a button. It is embedded into the creative. You can actually put a headline that should be very short, not more than 4 or 5 words. Then you can include a vector graphic like that, which symbolically represents what you're trying to say. Yeah, so that is one way of doing it. It doesn't look bad at all. Come on, it looks really cool. Okay. So now, if I have to really, in case if you're worried about, hey, I don't know what companies to look at, you just have to click on random brand. Okay. In mode.com, it gives you this option called random brand. Just keep on clicking on it. It will keep showing you different creatives. Okay. And whichever template that you feel this looks terrible, I don't want to do this. Okay. This is just to my liking. I'm not saying they're doing bad ads. This is just not my preference of ads. Okay, so let us see what apartments.com is doing even more. I really don't want to look at these guys. Okay, click on one more brand. Let's see if more.com is now throwing a good brand to us. Procter and Gamble, hopefully better creatives that we can take inspirations from. Not bad, not bad. Uh, like I said, you'll have to look at what can you make and what can't you make. For example, you know, this doesn't really look like a really good performance ad. Okay, maybe PNG is not known for that. Okay, so this is a good graphic to look at. What they're trying to do here, they've just put an image in the backdrop, or they have put this color in the backdrop. So why don't we go ahead and create this? This shouldn't be too difficult to make. So this size is 300 into 250. So let me just go ahead and create a new one, 300 into 250. It's the dimension of that ad. Let me just bring this closer. Okay, they have a mother and a child, and they have this color. So first, let me put that as a background color. Okay, go back to color picker, pick that specific color, come back here, change the background color, and just put that hex code. Okay. Now we've got that exact background. Now we need a mother and a child, and generally where I go is unsplash.com, my most favorite place to find upbeat images. So I'm going to search for a mother and a child. Okay, so let me see if I can get something closer to what is more like a very young child. So if not that exact image, so this one looks decent. Okay, so I would actually download this. Okay, or just right click and copy. Go back to our Canva, put that image. We need a horizontal image. This looks like a vertical image. I think I'll be stretching it too much if I do that. Yeah, this is not a good idea. Or what I have to do is I have to crop this image first. So we reduce the unwanted space. So I click on it, click on crop, and reduce the unwanted space. Yeah, so that I can use the same creative as a vertical creative. So let me just crop this unwanted space as well. Okay, so now we go put this image. Let's go look back at the image once again. Yeah, so I think I can reduce a little bit on this side as well. Yeah, so that the focus is on the mother and child. Okay. No, this image is just not working out for me. Let us find some other image. Okay, let's quickly go back and yeah, maybe this image. This looks like a nice image, if not exactly the PNG image, but this looks nice. Okay, let's go here, put the image. This symbolically represents a child. Okay. Now, what else do they have? They have Pampers logo and they have a call to action. So let us go search for Pampers logo. Pampers logo PNG. So this is the Pampers logo. Let me see if I can get, oh, not bad. We got the PNG version. Let's quickly go back to Canva, put that logo here. But this one is a white colored logo. Yes. So what we need to do, go back to FX, apply a duotone, and try changing the color. It's taking a while to load. Okay. And I have to put just this. Instead of this, I'm going to give it white. It looks terrible. And what is the reason? So let me just see. The quality of this logo is pathetic. Oh, it's not bad. Okay. So we got the white colored logo. So we're going to put that here. Then what do we have? We have a call to action button. The call to action button you can find in elements. This is a rounded edge call to action button, so you need to find an element accordingly. Where is the rounded edge here? We have the rounded edge boy here. I need to remove these colors. Okay, reduce the size of it. How big is this? Not too big. Okay, so, hmm. So that, yeah, that's about it. Let's include the call to action text now. Learn more. Too big. So I'm going to change that color into black. Bring that text here. Maybe reduce the font size a little more. Okay. We are not doing anything that is pixel perfect in nature. This is just for your understanding. So we have this as well. Now we need to align this a little bit. So that it looks decent. Okay. Now they have a copyright and a text, which you should be able to easily do. So let us look at doing this. Okay. #1 choice of hospitals. So I'm going to put #1 big. Okay. So that is number one. Another one they have is choice of hospital, a bit of a roundish font. Let me see if I can find that font. Okay. Before that, let us just put choice of hospitals. Align it towards the left-hand side. Reduce the font size so it goes exactly with that. I would probably reduce the line spacing as well. Okay. Not bad at all. Number one choice of hospitals. Number one choice of hospitals. We have this here. If you use that exact font, it will look exactly like this. So don't worry about it. So we can include this text. That's just relatively easy based on hospital sales data. Okay, so might as well put it for your satisfaction. Based on hospital sales data, reduce the font size, and we can bring this here. Is that where it is? Yes, that's where it is. Based on hospital data, so I need to align this so it stands out. Okay, and you have this as well. So similarly, you can put that data here as well. Doesn't look too bad at all. So let me just download it and show it to you how this one looks. Okay, you got it. Yeah, doesn't look bad at all. So we can always fine tune this, right? You know, pixel perfections, we can always do that. You know, this is just for your understanding. You can almost achieve any level of creative that you see outside on Canva. There are a few things that you won't be able to do, which is something that you will only know when you start using the platform. Okay. Yeah, so that is what I typically do. And like I said, you know, we are going to be creating a channel in the community, uh, you know, maybe for good FB ads, you know, good display ads, the companies that we admire, the companies with good layouts that we can easily copy from. Now, I forgot to tell you what would I copy from here. Again, I would not literally copy what Pampers is doing. Okay. So first of all, it is giving me a layout idea. Okay, I can use my photograph to 60% of that creative. I can use a background color, right? I can put my logo here. Generally, the opinion is put the logo in the center or in the corner, right? Look at where Pampers have used their logo because it's a really popular brand. Everybody knows that. So they can afford to use it anywhere they want. So they have used the logo here. There is a call to action button here. Like I said, you know, they're talking about one of their it's not really a value proposition, more like a social proof, the number one choice of hospitals for a lot of people, right? So you can recreate it. So what I can do is, you know, if I have 5,000 plus people have rated me 5 star on Google, something like that, I will put here, right? Instead of putting the logo here, I can put the logo here and put the call to action in the center. might as well show you how I would do that. Let's say if this is here, you can actually put this logo here and put this call to action in the center. But instead of leaving the call to action open, right? So you can actually put some data. Yeah. More than 90%, 95% of doctors advise numbers. Something like this. Okay, that is click worthy if people will really want to know more. But this line itself does the job. If somebody is looking at this ad and they're saying more than 95% of the doctors advise Pampers, they already form a perception. Okay, Pampers may be the right product for my child. Okay, so this is how you can play around with the layout a little. The more the number of ad creatives that you look at, the better you can get. But this can come only by practice. And I wouldn't say I'm like an expert at Canva. I maybe know about 25% of what the platform has to offer. So the potential of this platform is endless. You can do a lot. For example, if you want to use a gradient in the background color, right? So you can do that as well. But you won't be able to do that in the color. You will have to use a gradient image and use that image as a background. So Canva doesn't give you that gradient option if I'm not wrong. But there are a lot of people on YouTube who keeps on giving Canva tips. Generally, what happens, Canva may not offer a feature straightforward, but people have identified different ways of achieving the same thing. Like I was saying about gradient, right? There are different ways that you can achieve gradient, even though gradient is not a direct functionality offered by Canva. This is a while back. We may be offering it now. Okay, cool. So that's how I generally go about creating an ad, and I'll see you in the next module.